The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Are you ready to dumb it down? Let's dumb it down together. Fantastic. Hey everybody, welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave. It's my Dumbcast. Hello Dum-Dums. Welcome to the show. It is Sunday, April 30th, 8:42 a.m. and I am in Rensselaer, New York. The last of 4 days. I did not work a fifth day this week. Got a little energy. Got a nice fresh cup of coffee to keep me company along the way. And I have a buttered hard roll. Yes, it's a staple here in the East Coast, the Northeast. I don't know if it's a staple in the rest of the world. I kind of touched on this on episode. Welcome to episode 68, by the way. Did I mention that? Episode 68. Wow, 32 from 100. So I'm going to count. I'm going to count up to episode 100. I have big plans for episode 100. It's probably never going to happen, but I have big plans for episode 100. So episode 68. On episode 67, which was 2 weeks ago, if you had heard, called "They Fired My Boss," and we'll touch on that a little bit if I remember. I mentioned a little bit about getting hard rolls with butter or bagels and cream cheese at the thing called the Mobile on the Hill. It's like a gas station convenience store right down the road from my job. And I was having an issue with their bagels with cream cheese and their hard rolls with butter, that there was hardly any butter and hardly any cream cheese. And I brought that to the attention of the lady at the counter, who I did not even realize was a manager. She has a name tag, but it doesn't say manager. It doesn't indicate that she's a boss. I just assumed she was a daytime clerk. But anyway, very nice woman. I cannot for the life of me tell you her name. She has an interesting name and I don't remember it, so my bad. Very nice lady, and she's been helping me, and that was 2 weeks ago. And just now I bought her, she told me she spoke to the guy that makes these hard rolls with butter and the bagels with cream cheese. And the reason why I'm talking to you about it is because in episode 67 I talked about, affecting change. I mean, I talk about that a lot. I mean, to speak up, to say something, and to ask yourself, what are you afraid of? What's the worst that can happen if you say something? And what's the worst that's going to happen if you don't say anything? Is that nothing will change. And I always seem to be the one that speaks up. I always somehow, and a lot of times I feel awful. I feel like an idiot, or I feel bad, like I'm making life difficult for somebody. I'm getting somebody else in trouble. And I don't know. So it's just a weird thing. I don't know how you guys deal with it, but this is how I deal with it. And sometimes I'm more than happy to speak up, and sometimes I'm like, maybe I shouldn't say anything. But anyway, so I did. And just now I bought a buttered hard roll. And guess what? It had a little bit more butter. The lady let me open it up and see. And she goes, if you want, I'll put butter on it, no problem. I go, no, it's okay. She goes, really, it's no problem. We have plenty of butter, which I thought was a funny line. We have plenty of butter. That's not a sentence you hear a lot. Have you ever heard anybody say that to you? Oh, don't worry about it. We have plenty of butter. I said, okay, if you insist. I really do like butter. I like my bread fully covered in whatever condiment or any substance. I like it fully covered. If I'm having peanut butter and jelly, right to the edge. If I'm having anything with mayonnaise, right to the edge. Because it makes the sandwich better. If whatever you have on it, it's on it right to the edge. Don't waste the bread surface. You should spread it out. Every bite, there should be no dryness. It should be moist with any substance, any condiment. So anyway, so she did that. So I'm having my coffee. I'm having my bagel with butter. And she actually, to tell you the truth, she put a little bit too much butter on it. And I had to lick my fingers like 20 times just now before I started the show. Because I hold the phone in my hand while I'm doing the show, driving down the New York State Thruway, as I drive my 2008 Kia Rio LX. So speaking of Kia Rio LX, my porta potty, a phrase that I've coined, let's do the mileage report. It's been 2 weeks since I did my last podcast. That was April 16th. Today's April 30th, 14 days ago. I have since driven, before I say that number, I'm so out of practice. The mileage report is brought to you by comedypipe.com, comedypipe.com. They bring you the show Pipe Dream Live every Wednesday, wherever you are in the world. If it's Wednesday at 8 o'clock on the East Coast of the United States, it's time for Pipe Dream Live with your host, Mike, also known as 3D, and his co-hosts. It's a live show. You can watch it on YouTube. You can listen to it on comedypipe.com via the stream. They have different guests, special guests every week. I've been a special guest at least twice, and I probably will be a special guest, I don't know, sometime soon maybe. And that's it. Check them out. ComedyPipe.com presents Pipe Dream Live, Wednesdays at 8 o'clock on the East Coast of the United States. In the last 2 weeks, I have driven 1,041 miles, 1,041.7. How about that, Kia? Kia Motors, Kia USA, who I tweet. When I do tweet, I tweet them. When I retweet the show, Kia, you listening? I'm doing a podcast in your car, 2008 Kia Rio. Okay, so, 1,041.8 miles. So let's reset the button. Boy, that's like 520 miles a week commute. That's a lot. I mean, it's not all commute. I go to therapy. I donated platelets last week. So I drive a little bit, but not that much. I only really have one day off. So it's mostly commute. All right, so there you go. That's out of the way. I want to get to it. Whatever the it is in Dumbing It Down with Dave, I like to get to it. So last week they fired my boss. 2 weeks ago they fired my boss. I have no updates on my boss Bill. What happened? Why? We have some rumors that are flying around. Nothing really having to do with him. Mostly having to do with other circumstances that might have helped him get fired, which I don't agree with. I'm going to have to think about discussing that on the air. I don't think anybody at the company I work for has any idea I do this dumbcast. I don't tell people that because of the fact I like to keep this part of my life private. So let's just say I don't think it was just, from what I know, which is nothing. I know that the numbers were supposedly up. Things were going good. I think he was a very hard worker. He was a hard worker before he got the job, and he had always impressed me with his constant working. He's not one of these guys that smokes a cigarette, although he did smoke, and just hangs out for 15, 20 minutes. He doesn't get involved in sports conversations. Every so often he'll stop, we'll talk about hunting, but, things. He was a permaculture guy. I don't know if he was officially a permaculture guy, but he was a grower. He was we got to be careful when you say that about a man. He grew things. He was a planter, a farmer, a hunter. He was a sportsman, which even though I don't do most of those things, it impressed me that he did. It impresses me when people have a discipline, a skill. I'm impressed by ballet artists, ballet dancers. I'm impressed by painters. I'm impressed with people that master a discipline, any discipline. I'm impressed with people who play golf. I'm impressed with people who can slap a puck with a stick. I'm impressed with mechanics. I am absolutely impressed with anybody who's mechanical and good at it. That's a discipline. I'm impressed with people who do a good podcast. I'm not impressed by many people, but I am impressed with people who do a good podcast. So I was impressed with Bill. I don't know what happened, and it does trouble me. And there's not going to be a statement. There's not going to be a release of any information until somebody actually meets up with him and says, "Hey, what happened? What can you tell us?" He might also have, not a cease and desist. When they muffle somebody, a gag order. He might not be able to say anything. That would be unfortunate. So I don't think he did anything dishonest. I can't say I would bet the house on it, only because how many times have we all been disappointed when we think somebody is so honest? It turns out, not that honest. So I don't think corruption was a problem. I don't think theft was a problem. I just think it was some dopey reason. And, I'll say this. I think one of the dopey reasons, the rumors that are flying around, is that we have an ethics hotline, like this anonymous ethics 800 hotline. And I think that we have like a whole bunch of drivers that are malcontents. Is that the word? Malcontents, never happy. And they've called and complained. And another rumor is that we have the busiest ethics hotline in all of the company's national and international facilities. Like more calls come from this facility than any other. And, I don't know why that would be a bad thing. Why? I don't know. I just don't know. It's really frustrating when you don't know. And this show is a lot about what I don't know. So when people ask you, hey, what's Dumbing It Down with Dave about? It's about Dave not knowing things. He talks about things he doesn't know, and then he dumbs it down. So not only does he not know, you continue to not know. But you didn't know that until you heard it. And you go, oh, I didn't know that. Now I still know nothing. Because Dave said nothing, which I've done a lot on these shows. Okay, so that's it with Bill. I still feel bad, and I haven't given up. What can I do? But I'll keep my ear to the ground and my eyes open and pay attention. We don't have a new boss yet. We're all dreading the new selection. We think he's going to be a hard ass to make up. Another rumor was that Bill was too soft on people. I don't know if that's true. I don't know that. But anyway, out of all the problems he might have had, out of all the problems that these malcontents had, why wouldn't you just go talk to Bill about it? His door was open. He had a real open door policy. So, very frustrating. And I think a lot of these drivers never had a crappy job before this job, and they think this is a crappy job. But I got to tell you, as a truck driver in the business in the transportation industry for the last, I'm 54, so I got out of the Navy in 31 years. 31 years I've been in a transportation industry, a car service, cabs, limos, stretch limos, buses and trucks, all different types of delivery trucks. 31 years. It's the best job I've ever had. And it's the most money I've ever made. And it's probably the least amount of work I've ever had to do. It's also the best schedule I've ever had, because it's only a 4-day schedule, not a 5-day schedule. They're long days, though. And there's 3 days off in a row. 3 consecutive days in a row. I'm there 4 years last week. Congratulations to me. April 23rd was my 4-year anniversary. I'm not known for staying much longer than 4 years. So next episode might be, I'm looking for a job. Episode 69. So I think a lot of these drivers just are coming from nothing. They're too young. They're too young and dumb. And not all the drivers are young. But anyway, guys, I know I'm going on and on about it, but it is a part of my life, and it does concern me. What's coming up next? Be careful what you wish for. You might get it. We might get a new boss. And he may be bad. I was going to say a bad word starting with the letter P, like when you touch a thorn and you prick yourself. So, anyway, that's it for that. Something very interesting. Oh, we'll do the Trump count up. Today is April 30th. So, I think today is day 101. I know they've been talking about day 100. So, I think yesterday was I did the math before I did the show, believe it or not. So, it doesn't matter whether it's day 100 or day 100. Oh, wait. Did I forget to do this? It's time to do the... Oh, was I doing this now for the mileage report? It doesn't matter. I can do this for anything I want. It's my show. Ready? I sound like Zartran. If you listen to Awesome Insanity Surfers. Yeah. There you go, Linda. That's my Zartran impersonation. But I have to use a device. Somebody does it on your show. I'm not going to say who. Because, I like to keep the mystery alive without the aid of a device. So anyway, let's do the Trump count up. Ready? Trump count up. I think it's day 101. Let's just say that. It doesn't really matter. It's not like this is, 2020 or Nightline. I could be incorrect. So it's been 101 days, and my life is exactly the same it was back on January 19th. My life is the same as it was January 19th, 2017, 2016, and 2015. It's the same. Everything's the same. I'm a little bit heavier. I have a torn bicep, which I'm waiting on an approval from Workman's Comp to get an MRI. I have to wait for an approval to get an MRI. So the status of my health is uncertain and questionable. Mark, my friend Mark, who has commented on the show many times, has said, "Oh, Dave, you should go to the computer on Friday." 1 second, before I get to Mark, let me have a coffee break. Please feel free to partake. You should be listening. You should be drinking or doing something when you listen to the show. Oh, that's good. Wild blueberry today. I went fruity. I don't normally go fruity with coffee or alcohol or anything. I like to keep it non-fruity. It's not a machismo thing. I just find that I don't care for fruity flavor in my beverages. Little Splenda, which I shouldn't have had, and wild blueberry with French vanilla creamer. It's a lot of stuff in there. You shouldn't be drinking all that crap. I'm trying to lose weight. All right, so my life hasn't changed in the last 100 days. That's what this Trump count-up was all about. It's all about counting the days. I just took a bite of a buttered hard roll. That was a mistake. I'm very sorry, but I'm so hungry. You have to apologize. I have to apologize for eating. Now I'm going to choke on something, and it's going to be horrible for the show. You never should eat during a dumbcast. Well, during a dumbcast, you're allowed to eat, by the way. I'm sorry. During a dumbcast, you're allowed to eat. During a podcast, you should never eat during a show. Absolutely unprofessional and also disgusting. Oh, there goes a piece of bread flying out of my mouth. Which reminds me, it's about time I washed this sock. I think I've been doing podcasts, this dumbcast for a year. I never washed this sock. Remember? I told you if you don't remember, I take a sock that I cut the part from the ankle up and I put it over the bottom of the phone and I use it as my pee blocker. So that's why I can pop my peas and you don't hear it. So I got to wash this sock today. All right. So Mark says to me, Dave, Friday, go on the computer and go find out the things that Donald Trump has done in the first 100 days and then discuss it, like what he has done. And then I said, no, first of all, I'm not going to do that. I just know I'm not going to do it because I don't have the time. It's a big issue with this show. I don't have time. The time I put into the show is right now, in between exits. For 30 minutes, I put time into the show. And then when I get home, today is rake day. Today is get the yard ready for the spring and summer day. I got to spend all day raking and getting the lawnmower. I ran it the other day. I got to cut grass. I got to get ahead of the grass. Last year, I did not get ahead. I fell behind, and the grass got tall before I had a chance to cut it. And I can't rely on my son to do it. He's never going to do it. I don't want my wife to do it because she's busy, so I have to do it. And I have to stay on top of it because if I have surgery on my arm, I'm not going to be able to use the mower. And then my wife will have to do it, or I'll have to pay Jack, and he'll come over and do it. So I said to Mark, no, I don't think I'm going to do it. First, I don't have the time, first of all. Second of all, that's not what the count-up is about. The count-up isn't about what Trump gets done or doesn't get done. I'm not really interested in that because it doesn't matter what he gets done. Supreme Court Justice, he's in, Gorsuch, doesn't affect me. Building the wall, not building the wall, doesn't affect me. Immigrants, immigrants, throwing them out of the country illegally, whatever, doesn't affect me. What else? Repealing Obamacare, that probably does affect me, but he hasn't done it. So guess what? Doesn't affect me. Keystone Pipeline, doesn't affect me. Rolling back the environmental things, doesn't affect me yet. I don't think it's going to affect me. It might affect the planet. So I guess it would indirectly, which I made that disclosure many episodes ago, that things can indirectly affect me. But I'm just saying, in my little mind, in my dumbing it down mind, nothing has really affected me for the last 54 years. You want to just do the adult? Did you just hear me burp? If you want to just do my adult years, the last 18? So the last 36 years? I don't know. Reagan put money into the military. I think that helped me when I was in the military, but I didn't get a raise. It's not like, whoa, now you're getting $250, was it a week or a month? I got paid very little in the military. Very, very, very little. It's not like the food got better. It's not like we went from a grade C beef to a grade B. You know, I don't recall anything ever changing for me. That's why I did the Trump count-up. Because everybody was so upset that he was going to be president. And I'm like, you shouldn't be upset. You can be dissatisfied. Am I being a word snob now? Is it just a matter of semantics? You can be dissatisfied with the victory of this candidate and the dissatisfaction with your candidate not winning and the way she ran a horrible campaign. But the show isn't about politics today. I'm just throwing in these jabs because I know I can. But to be angry and to the protesting and all the hullabaloo. What did this show just got British all of a sudden? It's a hullabaloo. I don't even know if that is a British term. Probably not. So, I did the Trump count-up. So it's 101 days. My life has not changed. He did not affect my bicep. He doesn't affect my workman's comp. He doesn't affect my gas mileage. He doesn't affect my property taxes. He doesn't affect anything of me right now. Is he good for the dairy industry? I have no idea. Is he good for technology? I have no idea what he's good for. I have no idea what he's bad for. So, but I will try to be honest. When that moment in time comes and I go, ooh, that affects me. I don't like that. I think he's got good relationships going on with some foreign leaders. Does that affect me? I'm not going to Japan or China or South Korea or North Korea. He's not stopping them from doing ballistic missile testing, even though they're failing. So, I don't know. You tell me. Put that in the show comments. Dave, this has affected you. You don't even realize it. Or I realize that there are things that could affect me. And I'm talking about an emotional statement of what could affect me. Right now, my life is 0% different from 100 days ago. Other than things I've done to myself. That's my point. Okay, let's move on. I haven't done a DIDWD minus 40 in a long time. Dumbing it down with Dave, minus 40. Let's do the Dumbing It Down with Dave, minus 40. I don't think we're going to take a breather this week. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. All right, so episode 67. No, that's not it. That was last week. I haven't done one in a long time. All right, so this is episode 68. 40 episodes was anxiety, anal retentive, and appointments. I don't know. Anxiety was the title. Anxiety, anal retentive, and appointments. Where I discussed Murphy's Law and the Feast of San Gennaro. That was back in September. My wife and I went to Manhattan. We went to the Feast of San Gennaro. So I must have talked about that and the food that we bought and ate and Murphy's Law. Well, I can't remember exactly why I talked about Murphy's Law. You can only imagine. So if you're curious, go back to episode 28. Anxiety, anal retentive, and appointments. Last week was episode 67. 2 weeks ago was episode 67. So DIDWD minus 40 was repaved roads, rules, and reels. REELS. Repaved roads, rules, and reels. Where I discussed some issues I have with certain roads that were or were not repaved, rules of the road, and how people conduct themselves out here, even though it's not a truck driver show. And as far as reels go, I discussed the movie Sully. Even though I hadn't seen it, I discussed it. What could I possibly have said about a movie I didn't see? I have no idea. 26, episode 26, which is 40 some odd episodes ago. Pressure cooker in New York. That's when they had that. I talked about the explosion, the pressure cooker explosion, all back in September. And then I also talk about, for a little comedy relief, I talked about Taco Bell's bathrooms, and probably all bathrooms in general, how difficult it is for certain men to use certain bathrooms. Men? Yeah, women too, probably. How would I know? I'm not a woman. But we all sit down for something, don't we? Okay. Anyway, then episode 25, Houston, and in parentheses, or the entire USA, we have a problem. Episode 24 was Mayhem, Momentum, and Muck. So these are all DIDWD minus 40s. Dumbing It Down with Dave minus 40. If you want to know what the show was like 40 episodes ago, because you think a show should change from something, whatever it is, to something way better in 40 episodes. Have I made an improvement? I have no idea. Mayhem, Momentum, and Muck is an interesting show because I discuss my life when things go wrong, like when things happen and, Yeah, I get muck. I get mired in the muck, and I don't make a lot of progress. That's why I haven't done a show in 2 weeks, and I'm okay with that. And we're not going to talk about how often I'm going to do a show, once a week, twice a week, Wednesdays, Sundays. I do the best I can. Today I'm on my way home. I'm southbound the New York State Thruway. By the way, another sunny Sunday morning. I'm like a great representative of New York upstate tourism, because I've done a lot of these shows where I'm southbound on the Thruway on a Sunday morning and the sun is blaring. It's not blaring today so much because it's higher in the sky. Did you know that? Because it's getting close to the summer, so the sun is higher in the sky. So it's not blaring in my face as much. 9:07 in the morning. Okay, so there you go. So last week was They Fired My Boss, episode 67, episode 66. I'm in therapy. Yeah, that was a good one. I talk about some injuries I've had, and I talk about a few friends that I do or do not have anymore. So that's it. Oh, so let's talk about, then that's it. Yeah, we don't have to go any further back. Last week was an interesting show for me, and this is what we're going to finish up on. Last week 2 weeks ago was an interesting show. Episode 67, They Fired My Boss. You want to take a breather break? Let's take a breather. Let's do a quick breather. Then I'll finish up. Ready? 3 deep breaths. Deep. They got to hurt. They got to be painful. Otherwise, it won't be healthy. All right, ready? Here we go. Breath number 1. Wait, test your nose. Make sure you're snot-free. That's the worst, when you're not snot-free. Everybody should be snot-free during these breathers. Okay, there we go. It's like stretching your legs. Okay, here we go. Ready? Breath number 1. Nice and deep. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Ready? Go. Very good. I'm supposed to say very good. Even though I'm not there, I'm not witnessing you doing it. I don't even know if you actually are doing it. But, you know, that's my job, is to say, oh, good job. Very good job. All right. Breath number 2. Ready? Go. Nice and deep. That's good. Oh, that was very good. You should have both nostrils open at the same time. Don't close the nostril. All right, breathe through both nostrils. Ready? Last one. Try to make it really hurt. And take in a lot of air. Inflate those lungs. Get oxygen to your brain. And then we'll exhale. Ready? And then we'll get on with the last of the show. Ready? The last segment of the show. Segments. Here we go. Ready? Go. That didn't really hurt, but I broke it up into like 3 shorter breaths. I don't know if that helped. I thought that would help. It didn't help. All right, there you go. Good job, everybody. Give yourself a big round of applause. Way to go. I'm not going to... Nope, I didn't want to do that. All right, big round of applause. Good job for breathing. Anywhere in the world, that breath break, that breather is brought to you by air. Anywhere you are in the world, if there's air, you should go down and get some. I'm going to get some in a couple of minutes. I'm going to be in my yard raking all day long and cutting grass. Oh, so 2 minutes to go. Let me real quickly say this. 2 weeks ago, I did that episode, They Fired My Boss. Last week, I went down to the Bronx to visit family for Easter. Happy Easter, by the way, everybody. And Passover, I guess. On the way back, we listened... My wife and I were in the car. I never make her listen to my podcast. Never. I just don't. We don't have that type of relationship where I go, ooh, listen to this. I don't do that. I don't look for her approval. Anyway, besides, I know that's not funny. That's not funny. You know, it's going to be like a whole trip of, oh, why'd you say that? Like, and it's tough to listen to the show for the first time, you know, at episode 67. I kind of feel like you need to know my body of work to understand why I do the things I do, why I say the things I do, and all this other stuff. Anyway, long story short, I felt very self-conscious. Very, very, very self-conscious having her listen to it. And I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed for a half an hour. We stopped sometimes. I explained some things. She didn't really ask. I kind of felt like I had to stop. But I got to tell you, it was the weirdest feeling to listen to the show with my wife in the car. But I took that feeling and that information that I think if she listened to most of my shows, I would be embarrassed. So if I'm embarrassed for my wife to hear me act like an idiot and a moron and do a horrible podcast, then I should feel the same way about you. I got to raise my standards. And I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do it without just keep on doing it. I don't have the time to put in work. I'm going to go over 30 minutes today because it's kind of important I make this point. I don't have to be, I'm not a slave to the 30-minute rule. I just like to stay within 30 minutes. I just got to make sure I don't go too far. How do I improve myself? I'm not going to ask you to tell me what I should do. You have a suggestion? Be more than willing to listen. But I just don't know how to make this whole thing better without just keep on doing it. I don't have time to prepare. I just don't. I had a conversation with my buddy Bobby, who's back from Vegas. And he said, here you should do Instagram. And I have a whole bunch of notes that I wrote down. I actually texted myself. I didn't write anything while he was talking to me. And the thing is, at the end of the day, Bobby, I don't have time for Instagram. I'm going to go rake now for a whole day. I might squeeze in a nap. I might squeeze in a motorcycle ride because it's such a beautiful day. But in reality, I don't have the time. Well, Dave, how do you sit there and watch kitty videos? You watch cat videos and dogs, and you watch stuff. Because I have no strength to do anything else. You got to have a mindset. You got to have strength in your brain. You got to have air. You got to have blood circulation. You got to have a life. And say, today's the day I spend an hour doing this or whatever it is. I can't express to you as much as I just can't tell you how hard it is to get anything done. Dave, you don't have to donate platelets. No, I know that, but I really enjoy doing that. I might have saved a life this week. I get an email every time I donate platelets that where my platelets went. Last week I went to Winthrop Hospital somewhere in New York. It was already in a patient's body. My blood is in another person's body. My platelets. I can't tell you how special that is to me. It's important to me to do that. So that's 2 or 3 hours out of my life. 3. Definitely 3. Including the commute. Therapy. Every other week. I got to go. I can't take therapy for granted. I will become... You think I'm a raving lunatic now? I'll be so far gone, I'll be on antidepressants. I'll be an angry, lonely, angry, hardened man if I don't go to therapy at least every other week. I used to go every week. I gotta rake my grass. I mean, I could pay somebody, but I'm gonna feel like an idiot if I'm paying somebody. I mean, eventually, I won't feel like an idiot. I'll just say, listen, here's $30, here's $40. Just do me a favor. Take care of my property and be done with it. I don't need you to make it beautiful. Just make it so it's not a jungle. And then a lot of the stuff I need to do for the show is technical. A lot of the people listening to the show are podcasters. And they'll tell you, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the website, the correspondence, it's time consuming. Anyway, I was embarrassed to listen to the show with my wife. Episode 67, I should have deleted. I did contemplate deleting it. And then I didn't. By the time I was ready to hit the button to delete, some comments were already written. And I kind of said, Dave, you know what? Just live and die by the sword. Live and die by the sword. I tried too hard at episode 67. I was trying to squeeze in United Airlines, Don Rickles, the bagel story and cream cheese and all that. Try to squeeze in 4 different things at once. I think the one thing I would tell myself, do one topic and then end it. Even if it's 15, 20 minutes. Do one topic and end it. That's what I'm going to tell myself. Will I do it? Let's wait and see. I have no idea. But I do appreciate you guys listening in. I know sometimes it can be very hard. It can be very hard to listen to this podcast. I know that. But just understand that the standards are much lower here. So try to be less disappointed. You want a really good dumbcast? A good podcast? Listen to Awesome Insanity Surfers with Linda Irwin. You can find that on Spreaker. And she has like 3 or 4 other 1,000 shows. I think there's an off-the-cuff show. I don't know. I can't keep up with Linda. She's crazy. She's out there somewhere in Idaho, just sitting around all day and collecting her retirement money and just doing podcasts. Who knows how many she has. I don't even know if she's out of the snow. She still might be buried in snow. If she's buried in 30 feet of snow, then I understand. I would be creating... I would have 5 different podcasts if I was buried in the snow in Idaho. I'm just joking. I'm sure she's melted by now. It's all melted by now. Another good podcast is The Spark with the Internal Monarch is sponsoring The Spark with Jeff. He is the spark. He ignites debate. He ignites conversation. He stimulates thought. He's trying to change the world. Taking Over the Globe is the name of the show with Jeff the Spark. Then The Shelf Addiction, probably the best produced out of all of ours. Shelf Addiction. You want to talk about books or Pop Culture Sunday with Tamara? Check out that show. She never plugs my show. I don't know. I don't listen to her show because I don't read a lot of books. I listen to her show when she does Pop Culture Sunday, and they talk about shows that I watch. But she has a very well-produced show. She's got good artwork, too. Who else is there? There's a lot of good podcasts out there. Oh, Spreaker Live with Rob Greenlee. Alex Exum. Did I mention? I haven't mentioned in a long time. The voice you heard at the beginning of the show. This voice right here.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb.
That's Alex Exum from the Exum Experience. AlexExum.com. All right, there you go. A whole bunch of plugs. Podcasting. Good podcasting is hard to do. So I'm going to try, folks, to be more prepared, and I'm going to try to do a one-topic show. Very hard for me to do. Very hard for me to do anything. And I don't like talking about what I'm going to do or not going to do. I just like to do it. But I just wanted to put that out there, that I listened to it with my wife, and I felt bad. I felt stupid. I felt embarrassed. I wanted to take the phone and throw it out the window. That's how bad it was. Ugh. Anyway, I didn't delete it. I'm living and dying by the sword, as I said I would, 67 episodes ago. 68 episodes ago. All right, tune in next Sunday, maybe. Maybe I'll do a show Wednesday. Maybe I'll do a show tomorrow. Who knows? I'm not sticking to a schedule. That's for podcasters that with sponsors and advertisers. I don't need to stick. You know what? Stick to your schedule. All right? I'll work around you. How about that? How great of a podcast is that? You do what you're going to do. I'll do a podcast, and when you get around to listening to it, it'll be there. If you're listening to me week to week, maybe you're looking for me to be on a schedule. But for those of you that are listening to this in the year 2020, in your bunkers, because you're hiding from the radiation from the bomb that exploded, well, as far as you know, this show is done daily. What do you know? And good luck with the radiation. I hope things work out. I hope you packed a lot of water and granola bars. Ready-to-eat meals, right? REMs, ready to eat. RTEs. I don't remember what they're called from the military. Doesn't matter. Folks, thank you for listening to this extended Dumbcast. 37 minutes. Oh, I'm so exhausted. Oh, it's such a long podcast. I'm out of voice. All right. Goodbye. Good day. Good luck. Good night. Good night. Dave, did you forget how to do this? Good day. Good night. Goodbye. Good luck. Good riddance. Godspeed. I always like that word, Godspeed. And great skills. Take care. See you at episode 69. 69.